So in this video, I wanted to talk about how to calculate your available buying power when selling options, or the percentage of buying power that you're actually using and how much is available. So first thing we can see with Questrade is they changed the maintenance excess. They changed it to total buying power, and the old buying power is now called max buying power. So the total buying power line is the line that needs to stay above zero so that you don't get a margin call. So which column should you look at? You can look at either or one of the combined columns. So when you're looking at the buying power, you can look at either all in Canadian or all in USD. Just a side note, if you want to know if you're paying interest or not, then you have to look at the individual columns, either Canadian or USD, and you have to look at the cash line. And the cash line, if it's negative, then you'll be paying interest. If it's positive, then there's no interest. So if I look at my total buying power line and I look at all in Canadian, I've got 36,482. So what does that mean? That means that's how much I have available to trade with. I have 36,482 available buying power if I'm going to sell options or buy stocks that have a 100% margin requirement. If I'm going to buy stocks that have a 30% margin requirement, then I can look at the total max buying power at the bottom here. But since I sell options, then the line that I'm going to be looking at is total buying power, and I'll look at all in Canadian. You can look at all in USD, whichever you prefer. It doesn't matter. But I just look at all in Canadian to know how much I have available. Now, the important thing to look at as well, in my opinion, is to see how much have you used already. Which percentage have you used of your buying power with the trades that you have open? So if I go to my positions, I've got a bunch of trades here in my positions that are open, and I want to know how much buying power are these trades using. Are these positions using? Now with Questrade, it doesn't really show you the buying power that these trades are using, or at least not in the browser platform. Maybe in IQ Edge, which is the desktop version, but the browser platform doesn't show you the buying power that your positions are using. So just an easy, quick calculation if you want to know how much buying power you're actually using with your current positions. So if I had only cash in my account and it wasn't linked to my TFSA, my cash is basically my buying power. If I start off with an account that has 100,000 in cash only, then my total buying power would be 100,000. So now I can see that I've got 13,823 in cash, all combined in Canadian, and I've got my margin buying power here is negative. I've got a negative 28,511. So this line here, this margin buying power line, should tell me what I have available. Now instead of having a positive number, I have a negative number. So that means I've used up more than what I have available in my margin account. I'm actually negative 28,000 of buying power, but my total buying power is still positive. And the reason for that is because I'm actually leveraging my TFSA. So you can see this line here, it says TFSA buying power is 64. So because I'm leveraging my TFSA, it's okay that my margin buying power is negative. What's important is that my total buying power is positive. So that means that if it weren't for my TFSA, I would not be able to place the trades that I have in my margin account right now. Because right now, just the trades in my margin account, if I just rely on margin buying power, I'm actually negative 28,511. So I don't have enough. So if I'm negative 28,511 from my margin buying power, that means the cash that's in my margin account isn't enough. That means I've used the buying power that's generated from my cash plus an extra 28,511 in negative. So that means my positions right now currently are using 13,823.4 plus 28,511.9. So that means the positions, the trades that I have open right now, are using $42,335 of buying power. And it says here that I have remaining 36,482. So I'm definitely using more than 50%. So if I do 42,335 plus my remaining 36,482.68, that means my total available buying power to start off with in my margin account being leveraged with my TFSA is 70,817. I'm using 42,335. So how much of my total initial buying power am I using? I'm using 42,335.3 divided by 78,817.98. So I'm using 53% of my total buying power. So that means I only have about 46% of my buying power available, which is not good because right now SPY is at an all-time high and that means VIX is pretty low. Let's look, VIX is at 16. So it's not a good idea to be using more than 50% of your buying power when VIX is this low, when there is a low volatility environment, because especially I'm selling puts. So if I go back to my account here, most of my positions are naked puts. So if volatility goes up, it's because the market is dropping, is crashing. And if market drops, then all my puts will be tested. And if my puts are tested, the buying power for these puts will go up. So if market crashes, the buying power of my existing positions will go up. So instead of only using 40, what was my number again? 42,335. On its own, this buying power is going to increase. So my total buying power available is going to decrease without even adding new positions, just because volatility went up, market crashes. So the capital required for my existing puts will increase. So I need to leave room, especially in a low volatility environment, I need to leave room in case the market drops, and so that I have enough buying power to roll my existing puts, but also so that I have enough buying power to open new trades when VIX is high and the premiums are interesting. So I definitely need to close some positions and maybe avoid opening new positions until I can bring my available buying power percentage higher. Right now it's at 47, I believe I said. It should be at least 60-70%. Right now it's below 50, so it's definitely not good enough. It's definitely not high enough. So the general formula would be your cash minus your margin buying power. That'll be the buying power that your existing position is actually using, and then you can compare it with the available buying power, which is this line here, total buying power. So let's do it again. So it's 13,823. Or just to make it simple, 13,800 minus the 28,511. So that gives me the double negative. So let's do it again. 13,800 minus 28,500. I forgot again. Minus. Well, I don't know how to do a minus in this calculator, so I'm just going to. A minus is a positive. So basically, I'm going to do 13,823 plus 28,511. So there you go. I've got my 42,334. That's the total buying power that I'm actually using, and I've got 36 remaining. So I'm using more than 50%. So if you don't have a negative number here under your margin buying power, in one of these combined columns, then it's still the same formula. You're still going to do your cash minus your margin buying power. So if it's a positive number, it's a positive number, but your cash should be higher than your margin buying power if it's not negative. If it's not negative, that means your buying power comes sufficiently. You have sufficient cash in your margin account for your existing positions. That's why your margin buying power line is not negative. So it'll be a positive number here, a higher number here, minus a smaller positive number here. The difference will be the margin buying power that you're actually using, the buying power that you're actually using for your positions. And then you can compare it with this line here, total buying power. So sadly, Questrade doesn't present that number. So I have to always make sure that I'm at a decent percentage of available buying power. So I should at least bring it up to 40,000. My total buying power on the Canadian side should be at least 40,000. But if I look at my positions, what can I close? I mean, this is completely breached, the first one here, but I rolled it all the way to January 2023. So this is a 5-year put spread. Maybe it'll be closable by November 19 or after earnings. So this is taking about $400 of capital or buying power. This one is completely breached in the money. Yeah, pins here. This one doesn't help me for sure. Let's see how much buying power it's using. So if I go to my buying power calculator here, let's zoom in. So Pins is a 30% margin requirement stock. At market price is what, like 43, I think, and I've got 65 strikes, and I've got 2 contracts. So see, pins alone is taking $7,000 of buying power for me. That's a lot compared to my account. That's a lot. I remember I said my account is about 77,000 total. So pins is taking about 10%. Yeah, it's taking 10%. 9% of my total buying power to begin with, and I still have more puts on pins. Actually, I've got another one here at 45 put. I've got a 41 put for this week. If pins goes up after earnings, then these 2 will be closed, and this one, the buying power for this one will decrease, so that'll help. These ones, let's see how much buying power these ones are taking. So 45 and 41, while the market is at 43. So I've got 41. It's taking about 1,000 buying power, and I've got 44, I believe, as well. So that one's taking, actually, is it 44 or 45? 45. So 45 is taking about 1,500 buying power. So yeah. So pins is probably taking almost 9,000 buying power out of me. Let's see what else I have. I've got Posh here, which is also in the money. So I think the stock's trading at around 25. So let's see how much buying power this one's taking. So market price 25. It's in the money, of course. My strike is 35. So it's taking about 1,750 of buying power. Peloton, I just opened this today. So 80 put, the stock's at around 89. Let's see how much buying power this one's taking. 80. So it's taking about 1770, not bad. And it might be closable. If earnings are good, it'll be closable. So these are put spreads taking $400 of capital. Naked put on Roku, this one's taking about 2,400. It's not taking much. Roku's 315. I think Roku's at 50% with Questrade. And I have a 160 strike. Yeah, so this one's taking 2,400 of buying power for me. Next, and remember, this is USD. This is 2,400 USD, so it's not even in Canadian. When I was looking here, I was looking on the Canadian side, but it's actually, what I'm calculating here is in USD because these stocks are USD. So if I convert it back to Canadian, it's actually taking more. So Pinterest is actually taking over 10,000 Canadian from me in buying power. So biggest concern here is I need to close pins if I want to release some buying power. If I go back to my positions here, Snap 60 put, it's trading at 52. I've got a 50 put as well. I've got 2 contracts on Snap, so it's a 30% margin requirement stock. Stock is trading at 52. I've got the 60 strike. I've got 2 contracts, so that's 47.20 in US. So we need to convert it to Canadian. And that's how much buying power this put I have is taking. And then I've got another one at a 50 strike, but I just have 1 contract. That one's taking 1360 USD buying power. And then I've got Twitter, 2 contracts, 52.5. I think Twitter's around 53.5, let's say. I've got 52.5 strikes, and I've got 2 contracts. So this one's taking about 3,000 USD buying power from me. So you can see it adds up quickly. And then I've got Zillow here that I opened today for earnings. And as you can see, if you can see this here, Zillow dropped 21% today, about 11% during market open and market hours, and then after earnings, so after hours, it dropped another 12%. Actually, let's go see what it's trading at. So it's trading at 76.26. Beautiful. And my short strike is 75. So I'm just going to hold on to it till Friday and see what happens, because this is ridiculous. I mean, it's a crazy drop. I'm counting on the fact that it'll recover, it'll bounce back. So this one, if it recovers, then it's going to help me. Let's see how much buying power this one's taking. So it's going tomorrow when it's going to open at 76. The buying power that it's taking from me is 2,000 USD. So I've got a bunch of trades that I could potentially close, and that'll help me with my buying power. I don't think the 65 put will be closable. Maybe I'll just roll it super far so I can bring the strike lower. Some of them are not closable, but yeah, the November 5th, there's a chance that they can be closable. So that's my issue right now. That's my concern with my buying power. So yeah, I just did this video because I get the question asked often, how do we know what's our available buying power in terms of percentage? How much in percentage do I have left, or how much am I using? Because when you sell options, you try to respect especially if you're selling naked options, you want to respect the available buying power with reference to the VIX, to the volatility. If we're in a low volatility environment, you want to keep at least 60 or even 70% of your buying power, of your total buying power available. All right, so if you have any questions, leave in the comment section below. Like always, if you can open an account with Questrade to trade on the stock market, use my referral link below to get $50 in free commissions. Thanks for watching.